Cheers, guys and girls. Welcome back to the channel Full Contact Karate and coffee. Of course, there have to be coffee. Now we're going to do all the fun stuff first, and that is if it's your first time on this channel and you want to watch more content like this, please remember to subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, give a thumbs up. And if you want to interact with me, my name is Svein, or
Stefan.
then please don't be afraid to use the comment section below on the video. And today's topic, let me first introduce Push Me, Kick Me, Hit Me, Stefan. Just don't bore me.
Just don't bore me. Today we will talk a little bit about training, and that's a quite wide spectrum. But for both of us have been training martial art for a long time, and the Kyokushin has been the bread and butter. But we have been training a lot of other things as well, and we will get a little bit into that topic, the cross training. To develop the body and the mind, and I think we will take it from there.
Yeah, we're also going to touch into how to train a little bit smarter, maybe. I guess if you're watching this channel, you are probably training smart as well, because you are smart if you watch this video. But we're going to talk about our point of views on training smart and cross-training. And you mentioned we have been training a lot of different stuff. We are also going to address some of the political views of not only training Kyokushin. This is more of a serious matter. And also going to talk a little bit about the positive stuff. I think there is almost only positive stuff about training smart and cross-training, but you have to know what it gives you, and you have to know about the traps of it. Yeah. So Stefan, you've been training Kyokushin for a long time, karate, and you also, what was the first thing you tried as like cross-training?
Yeah, the first thing that I really was into, I always been searching. So I was on a seminar basis. We tried some different things that looks cool, but the first thing I did systematically was the boxing. And the reason for that was I was competing only at the regional level, but competing, and my background before full contact karate was taekwondo, and I had okay legs to kick. Kicking abilities were okay, the punches was okay, but not good enough. And I was really punished this tournament because the first fight I damaged my leg, and it was completely useless in the next fight. And my punches was not good enough to make the fight, so it was only pain when it was ikiwake, so it was 7 minutes with pain. And I knew from the start that this guy, he was better than me to punch, but you try to do the best. And also during these 7 minutes, I punched wrong and damaged my thumb on the right hand. So more or less I was taking the beating, but in the old days you have you didn't get the decision easy. He should get the decision before 7 minutes because I was beat up, but I was hanging in there. Oh, ikiwake. So he did get the decision after 7 minutes. And after that fight, I thought that this isn't good enough. I have to do something about. And I tried to do something myself, but I didn't have the tools. I hadn't at the time someone to correct me. But I have a friend, and that was training boxing. And for me it was quite simple. Who is the best to punch? Yes, a boxer.
Yeah.
For me, that was quite easy. So I went systematic to the boxing training, not to ditch full contact karate, but to try to find out how can I train this better. And it was mainly two things that was great. Yes, I improved. That was one thing. But my tools being a teacher was much better. Much better. Because of course you bring something you can use yourself, but being teach you will also see the tools of the instructor as well, of course. So that was the first connection with the cross training, and it paid off really good. And this was in the late 90s, and I still use some of the pad works and the combination, and proven to be good actually. So that was my first cross training. So
yeah, I was going to mention the pad work because this I have great personal experience with. You are great holding pads, but for me, I used to punch pretty good and pretty hard, but I really struggled with the timing and the reach. But then you introduced the pad work, and it got me on the reaction and also the reach. I have a much better reach than I was believing I had when I was punching traditionally with full contact karate punches, and this was a huge difference for me, in sparring. But also on a competition level, and of course also the guard comes much more natural when you're using the pad work from boxing, where you are much more strict on punching from the guard, and from my knowledge I only been knocked out once. From what I can remember, and this is, I'm not a great fighter. I'm not a great kicker. I do decent low kicks, but I'm really good at protecting myself. I get hardly ever hit, only in the guard, and this is mainly because you're training me with the pad work and the cross training you got from there.
I agree. We saw when we was using the focus mates small pads. Now in these days it's more common, but when we used it the first time, many of the Kyokushin environment look at us. This isn't hard enough. You're not punching hard enough. You have to have the big shield or the big mitts and to lean in and punching. And as another good thing about it was the stance was much better working on the combinations, because instead of leaning into the big shield or the big mitts, we had people standing on their feet and punching and using more rotation. Actually, it was more technical. And as for myself, I'm working a lot with the pads. You really have to work to be okay and decent pad holder. It's not, if you see the big boxing gym or the Thai boxing gym, it's not like everybody is holding the pads. It's a couple of guys or one guy. He's the specialist and he will do it, and he is so good at it. So that is some really good thing you have to understand.
And there is a couple of reasons for that. That's because you can. When doing pad work, it's not only to hit good and get a good punching exercise, but you can also overextend your elbow. There is learning how to hit wrong, and you put on some bad habits, and there is an honor, and it's really hard to hold the pads good, and also reading your training partner and see how he's standing, how his balance is, and what his what the next combination will be to get the result you're looking for. And this is a very good point. But I want to mention there is nothing wrong with using a shield or using like big mitts, but they have different values. They give you different things. So if you want to warm up, if you want to get tired, you want to have that feeling of the last 2 minutes in a 7-minute fight, then that's correct. But if you want to have like accuracy, you want to have timing, you want to have if you want to have the knockout punch, it doesn't have to be hard, it just have to be right and on the right place. That's why it's called focus pads. That's what you use. You have to use the right tool for what you want to gain. And what was the result of this cross training with boxing for you?
Yeah, for me personally, I went back to the Kyokushin tournaments, and but in the boxing I was quite determined to that. I'm not only here to do it and go home. I want a little goal to push myself, and I aim myself to go into a boxing tournament, and I want to be sure of myself that I actually have learned something. So I went first for like a grading fight that it's you will be hit, but it's controlled. That is the first thing. It's not so dangerous or something like that. More like a test. It's nice one. So I did that first, and the second one is it was a tournament or one fight, and that was about hitting the other guy out or box. So the difference I like to in words I like to say before the boxing training I could punch, but I couldn't box, and that's different. I could punch, but I couldn't box. So after the boxing fight, I went back to the tatami, and I fought a guy. He was a good all around guy, and he took all my kicks. But my kicks was good, but he was good enough to take them. And usually that was my upper hand to use my kicks, but he took them out. So then I, a matter of fact, have to rely on my punching. And in the second round, more extension, we could see on the video after the fight, the frequency of my punching was much higher, and he punched me 1, 2 quite hard. I answered with 3 to 5 punches, and they were all around, and I could see him really took them, and it did some damage. And in the previous fight, I was punching 1 and 2, slowly drain myself for energy, and also at that time the punching was not technical good enough, so it disturbed my stance. So when I was going to kick, the time between the punch and the kick too long. And then the kick come.
Yeah.
But the technical thing with the boxing, I was punching, bam, bam, and the kick was following, and so the punches open up better for the kicks for my. So that was a really good experience for my part, because he had beat me up without the boxing training. He had taken me out.
I'm curious about one thing that you might experience that I've been experiencing myself, is that from that, like when every hit with bad intention, that it have to be so incredibly hard, and you want to like destroy someone with every punch or every kick, it's really exhausting. And then the speed and the accuracy drops down, but you also are more open to get countered on. You take much more damage, and with the pad work and with the boxing, you got I guess you didn't get that exhausted.
No, that's right. Well, the breathing could be high, but the muscles was good as new, so I could keep on going, And of course, this is quite some time ago. So many now have been catching up, of course, and I wasn't the first one. No. But they're sharing the personal experience.
Yeah.
But now we can see it's more, people are more relaxed, and as we are talking about, we see the structure of a traditional Kyokushin fighter now. The weight is going down. They are more lean and more correct trained. Before, for some years back, it was all about being like a square,
Yeah.
like the biggest guy could take everything. Now it's more technical, more movable, and of course, more technical, more movable. Then you have to have speed as well. So I think it was a very good thing, but a good point, because the breathing, of course, yeah, I will feel the breathing, but you can catch the second wind, that's no problem. But when your muscles are tired, and that's, you can't do anything about it.
No. You also did some other cross training. You was doing some submission wrestling.
Yeah.
Some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga. How was this like accepted in the Kyokushin environment? Was this something that was like you were given the okay and was you are bringing stuff to us, or was it like, if you're not doing Kyokushin, you're not a good person in this environment?
Yeah, that's a really good angle, because it's two camps in this case, but traditionally, if you train something else, it was not accepted from the first generation of Kyokushin practitioners, more or less actually. And I did get a clear warning, matter of fact, that you should not do that. And I tried to explain that I am only on the search and to develop myself. I'm not ditching the Kyokushin. That's my game. That's all about. But try to understand more. And I used a sentence that I have learned from a Kali seminar I was training. And it was from Guru Dan Inosanto from... no, not Dan Inosanto. Hanno Hilton from Finland. He said, not only to me, but to the whole group, sometimes to understand your style, you have to go out and look into it. And that was what we were doing. We were going out to get a better perspective, because we are inside the bubble all the time. You are accepting everything. You're not critical. This is how it is. And standing outside and comparing to other things, that was a good thing, I believe. So I used also that sentence to protect myself, but it was mainly people were not happy about it. And in the worst case, there was some rumors that you shouldn't do this, especially now in front of your Shodan test. So back in the time, it was late 90s, short version, not accepted.
And from my point of view, that's totally insane.
Yeah.
It's like you learn to walk, so you can't learn to use your hands. It's like you are doing this one thing, and then you are only going to do this one thing. I think from a larger perspective, then, if you're not out seeking information, you're seeking positive vibes, you're not seeking education, personal growth, then you are kind of dying. If, like, put it this way, if you are in a bad work environment, it's not giving you anything, change your job. If you're not getting what you feel you need from your teacher or from your coach or your trainer, and join someone else. But it not despite of but just like an addition. Because you have to be like your base, and you have to be true to yourself on what's giving you the most. If that's the environment, the club you're in, your friends, your training partners, they give you warmth, they give you joy, stay there. But if the training doesn't give you any more, well, get more information in your training, so that gives you growth and happiness and keeping things interesting, like sex life and tools. Or keep something interesting and get your perspectives from other people, and that makes you grow like a fighter, as a trainer, as a training partner, and also as a person. And I think that's the most important. What gives you growth as a person? I've never been like a political guy, not in martial arts, not in anything, and I kind of hate the politics. So, and this is my point of view, and I'm standing for it. And if someone wants to send me an email, please do. but I think it's all about persons, and growth, and joy, and love for what you're doing, and I even experienced like some really top athletes that have done MMA, like in international high level, have joined some like club tournaments in Kyokushin, because they wanted to experience it, to get a new angle on things. And that, I think that says it all. And about those top athletes, they do protect themselves. They are training smart. They are not like, if you go back to the 80s with Kyokushin, you are going to like train so hard, you're going to hit every punch with bad intention, all the way up to you're going to compete, and you are almost certain you're going into a competition with some kind of damage. They are padding up like crazy. They have shin pads, double shin pads, socks over the shin pads. They have knee pads, elbow pads. They are using vests. They are using hockey pants, or thigh paddings. And that's professionals. So how has your experience been with people that training smart before competition?
And that is a great topic, you know, and we have, it's quite a wide spectrum in that. Many are still, I can see people are hanging on the Kyokushin, the strongest karate, and what it was promoted for many years ago, and that's okay, no problem. We live through the dream and we follow the path, or we are so say. But one step down the road, you have to be realistic as well. And many are training too hard, getting bruised up many times, and they are protecting this way of thinking that you have to be used to taking the strikes and the punches and the kicks, so your body will be tough enough to handle it in a fight. It's not okay. You have to get used to it. I know that, but it's a thin line. By on the one side, you are going injured more or less all the time to your training and up to the tournament, as you said. I think that has not been such a problem now. I think people has been smarter.
Yeah, thank God.
But yeah, thank God. But you can still see some, like the attitudes. You have to be so hard. But you can think, you know, I'm going with doesn't have to be serious, but okay, just an ankle or in the shin, a little that you have a defect in your shin, or a little injury, that prevent your training, and you will do thing on other that you're not used to do. You will protect it on the training. I think if it happened, it happened. Okay, we have to live with that. But when this is common, that people say, no, we are used to it. We are used to go with a bruised up shin and a bruised up hand. If that is the standard, that's a red flag for me, because your effect of the training will not be as good as one as healthy all the time. So I think that of course we are getting smarter, but I think still too many are training with small bruises and think that don't make the effort perfect on the training. Matter of fact,
I do understand the psychology, thing about it, that you wanna test yourself before a competition. You wanna go hard. You wanna get that competition feeling on training. But I guess you just have to need to compete more. If it's like you are doing one competition a year, or maybe one every half years, then of course you don't remember this feeling, and you are uncertain of yourself. You want to test yourself. You want to be ready. I guess you just have to compete more and get familiar with yourself on a regular basis. And there is many ways to do this. You can put on yourself like tasks during sparring. Today I'm not gonna use my best hand or my best leg. I'm usually good on close up or inside fighting, but today I'm going to stay outside to challenge myself. That's one form of competing. Or it's like mixing up in the dojo, and you can protect yourself during this kind of fighting as well, so you're fit to fight when you are in a tournament. But I guess that's what we had time for during this episode. Any last thoughts?
No, it's all the short version about the hard training and how you prepare yourself. You don't go with damage into the training, because then you have to go down on your level. So find the thin line. Find the thin line so you still can push all the time. Coming damage into training, you have to go back a little step. So for me, as I said, it's a red flag if you already often see that your fight environment are injured, and don't just pretend that it's not happening. If your shin are bruised up and your hand are bruised up and you can't punch the next week or the next 2 weeks, okay, your opponent that you face, he is training in other dojo with both hands intact and both legs. He's training and he's getting better, but you have to take care of your bad hand and your bad leg.
Yeah, and shit happens, but then if it happens every time, do something about it. Train smart. Train different things and seek out things that gives you enjoyment and self-worth and value. And until next time, Svein signing off. Stefan. Cheers.
Cheers.